Okay, today we get to sit with one of the most recognizable female media personalities in Kenya. She's growing fast and coming fast at your crowns as well. She calls herself the Media Messiah. She's going to tell us what that is all about. And she just won an award, actually 2 awards, 3 actually, over the weekend. She's going to tell us about being, one of the most decorated female personalities in the media industry in Kenya, and also one of the most amazing growing stars. And she's a host of 10 over 10, a premier citizen TV show. She's doing a great job. She is an ambassador. She is a brand influencer. She is a TV host. She's going to be a radio host as well. I mean, she has too much in her bag. Today, we get to sit with Aziza Hashim right on Citizen Digital for the first time ever to get to learn more about her media journey. What is she doing next? What is it about all these awards that she's getting? Is she paying for them or something? And also, I mean, what is the next plan for this superstar of the media? And also, the name Media Messiah, where did she get it from, and what does that exactly mean? Welcome to the show.
Thank
Aziza
you. This was
Hashim.
way overdue, man. I watch a lot of your interviews.
Oh my God.
And I'm a big fan of your work
really?
as well,
Wow.
so
I am
it was quite an honor.
Do you remember when you came to Citizen?
Yeah.
We had a mock interview.
Yeah.
Do you remember I conducted that with you?
I was so tense at that time.
You were so many ladies, I remember, and I was supposed to act like a superstar from Tanzania, from South Africa.
Yeah.
You were supposed to interview me, and the funny thing is, I kind of figured this is the girl we are picking.
And
what is it about your confidence? Because you appear like a very confident person.
Yeah. First of all, during that interview, do you know, I left there and I went immediately into the cab and cried because I felt like I didn't deliver.
Really?
During that interview, I knew I wasn't going to get called back.
Wow.
Reason being, the interview bit of the the audition was okay with me, but during your time, your hype and Nini, I was so tense.
You never thought you delivered.
I messed up. I'm my biggest critic, so I knew I'd totally messed up, and I was so sure they're not going to call me. But either way, ni sawa tu hata musiponipigia, at least hakuna mtu anajua nili audition.
But you are so good. What is it about you? Have you always been this confident girl? Because they pick that, I pick out your voice and they pick out your confidence as well, which is a very good plus for being a media queen like yourself.
Yes.
What is it about your confidence?
I think recently I've come to discover that I might actually have an alter ego because there are two sides to Aziza. Yes, the Media Messiah now comes out in certain settings, but growing up I've always been that chick who was always number 1, 2, 3, like top of class. I've always been a prefect ever since I stepped into school. From class 1 back to class 8, I was the head girl. I was always in debate. I was always in Model United Nations. I was always very outspoken. But tunapata away from the stage, away from being in the limelight, or away from being on the spotlight, I'm a very shy, enclosed person. Sitokangi kwa nyumba. If I'm not at work, I'm always at home alone, and most of my friends don't even know where I live. So I keep to myself a lot, and I have a small circle.
Because I would assume, a lot of people would assume you're a party freak. You're always out there,
I don't even drink or smoke. I don't consume mihadarati, so I'm never outside unless someone is paying me to be outside. I'd never step out of the house. I love being in my house. I love cooking. I love enjoying a lot of cartoons.
And your own time as well. You enjoy your own time as well.
I enjoy my own company.
Let's talk about Media Messiah. And somebody told me, I'm going to ask this in a very sensitive manner, in a nice way as well. You are a Muslim.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Someone in the office just, told me, hey, you should ask her this. Media Messiah. Messiah is the name that Christians use for their Lord, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Have you ever gotten in trouble for that? And how actually did you come up with that particular name, for instance?
Not really, because number one, it wasn't a name that came from me. And it's not the first time you're hearing the name Messiah in any industry. I'd love to give an example of Messi. People call him Messi Messiah. In that, there are different words with different meanings in the dictionary, or in different situations, or in different applications. And people who know me on a personal level, no. I have a lot of respect for religion. I have a lot of respect for God. And I believe every single thing about nafanya natoka kwa Mwenyezi Mungu. So there's no way on earth it would actually relate to that. Because being a Messiah, in the meaning that I term it, or the people who decided to name me the media Messiah, or the people who decided to name Messi the Messiah in soccer, is like the person who is the OG at that particular thing.
I get it.
You're the one leading the path, you're the one doing things differently.
So are you telling us that someone actually, that your fans, I would say, so to speak.
It was one of my fans.
Okay.
Yes.
Because someone would say it's like self-proclaimed. Like I would say, I'm the OG. Calligraph says I'm the OG.
Yeah.
So you're saying someone actually called you that name.
Yes, and I decided to own up to it. And it was so early in my career, and I couldn't understand why someone would give me such a powerful name, because I wasn't on TV, on any mainstream TV station, neither was I on any mainstream radio station.
You were basically starting.
Yeah, I was basically starting out, and someone on DM came and told me, I still can't even remember who the person was, because it was so long ago. And I adapted the name when I started because I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to be the change in the media industry. And in every single thing that I do, I make sure that I'm very strategic with my journey. I try to do things that have never been done before. Nikianzanga kuja kwa my events na security, watu wanaangalia who this chick thinks she is.
Yeah.
So everything, I'm living up to that name. Yeah. So I decided, why not challenge myself, so that by the time nafika penye nataka kwenda, which is Hollywood, which is the E-News, the BETs, the you know, we do things that have never been done before, so that you're setting the path, you're being the blueprint for the media industry. And you find for ladies in particular, we've always seen all the people we admire and look up to only reach a certain peak, and there's nothing after that. The biggest name in radio, the biggest name in TV, and maybe they go into management or decide to get married, or that's just basically it. For us as Gen Zs, we're like, okay, what next after this? You said we do radio, or we rather saw you doing radio, we saw you emceeing, we saw you doing TV, and we saw you doing it all. So what next after that? So I decided to give people what next after that through my journey.
Well, interesting. Let's talk about your voice. Someone very close to me, she likes her voice. She was like, ask her about her voice.
Yeah.
Is that a media voice? Is that your everyday voice? You have a deep, sort of a deep guttural voice, which is actually very beautiful.
Thank you.
On TV and on radio. But is this your everyday voice? Is it how you speak with your family members?
I think you should call me on phone so that we can confirm.
We have spoken on phone.
90% of the time you find nikiongea na mtu kwa simu ananiambia mbona unaniongelesha na sauti ya radio ama mbona unaniongelesha kani sauti ya TV. For the longest time ever, my voice and my height were two things that I was very insecure about.
Your height is okay. I don't know what you let's go ahead.
No, I was always short.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that.
Yes, we're gonna talk about that. Now to the voice, you find I always felt growing up that I never sounded like the typical girl, like my demo kona kale kasauti katamu and everything, and mimi ndo huyo niko na sauti kama ya Bazenga, and then wewe ni kafupi kuongezea. So you find there are times where with my family I try to speak like a lady, like kale kasauti kadogo katamu. I remember my aunt telling me, si uongea tu na ile base yako, unajua unakuanga na base, and I'd never really identified it.
Kibazu.
So I'd never really identified it. So unapata, okay, I'm like base yangu. So later on, when I started doing debates and Model United Nations in high school, the people started identifying it. So I could be used for the rebuttals, because now when you come, you're like, yeah, you said this and that and that. So it had that strong, intimidating sound
element
to it. And being a prefect as well, unapata weni form 3, alafu ma form 1 ni warefu kushinda. So nikisema form 1's clear the corridor now. Nobody can see who's talking, but they are dispersing.
Because the voice is very powerful, actually.
So I hated it at the beginning, because I always wanted to sound like all the other girls, and I didn't. But over time now, even during my first auditions for like radio, for like TV and all these other places, because I used to send demos. I remember nikisikiliza audition yangu ya Capital One. Yo, my lord. Unaona vile unajaribu kutoa sauti hapa, because it's not your real voice. So my throat used to ache because I wanted to sound like a chick. And I never used to get the jobs because I wasn't myself.
True. So let me embrace it, because this is really what it is.
When I was put on news, don't really embrace.
Okay, let me embrace it. So would you say what percentage of your voice, what percentage would you say your voice has played in your success so far in the media? I know this is your confidence.
Yeah.
It's probably because you are good at what you do.
Yeah.
You also look good.
Yeah.
Would you say your voice has really helped a big part in your
in a great way? Because you find what I hated, because it was different from everybody else, is what makes me stand out. Even when it comes to MCing, you find sometimes as a lady, ukiwa unaongea kwenye microphone, especially when you're hyping on at concerts or everything, kuna kale ka screeching sound, unasoundika una scream. But now for me, it comes naturally. I don't scream on stage, so it gives me an upper hand in that way. And you find for almost all the jobs that I've gotten is because of my voice, because it gives you that aura that you know we're here and I know what I'm saying.
Someone is in the building.
I am really grateful to the blessing that God gave me with the voice that He gave me.
Let's talk about your family. I know you've spoken about how good you are in school. You're gonna go there next.
Yeah.
But Aziza ni mtoto wangapi? Kwa kuzaliwa wapi?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, how was your childhood like?
Oh my God. So, mini demo mtani. By the way, a lot of people get really shocked. Yeah, just here in Nairobi. A lot of people get shocked because wanadhania ka buji. Labda ulilelewa sijui na Karen Kilimani and what. Not really. I was born in Marie Stopes Hospital.
Easily.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So when I was born, tulikuwa tunaka majengo kwanza with my parents. Then vile wakashika pesa kidogo, budaka umoka kiasi, tukahamia Calif. So for the better part of my childhood, it was spent in Calif during the time, and I was so blessed.
Calif is actually a good neighborhood. I know California. Jua Cali, I mean, come on. Calif Records. It's actually kidogo neighborhood, watu wako na pesa kidogo hapo.
Yeah, ukikompea kutoka majengo kuingia Calif, unapata most people wakipata pesa kidogo walikuwa wanatoka majengo wanaenda Calif.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ni kama watu wa Githero wakienda Mire. So mkienda Calif, it's you, your mom,
my dad. Yeah, I was raised with both parents.
You're the only?
No. I am the second born. So at that time, it was just me, my mom, my dad, and my big sister, who's like my best friend. I mean, she's done come 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So at that time, we didn't have any other siblings. So growing up, it was just the four of us in a small nuclear family. We weren't so poor, but not so rich. We had a pretty good life because my parents, coming from the background in Yometoka, they gave us a good life, and they tried as much as possible to give us all the opportunities and take us to the best schools that they didn't have the privilege to go to. So went to Visa Oshol Primary, Upper Westie. Most of the guys were Calif, Visa Oshol, Hospital Hill, Nairobi Primary. So within the
very typical Eastlands thing.
Yes. Mnabebwa na school van wote mkienda huko. I used to
Visa Oshol is a public school.
Yes, it was a public school. Oshwal ndo ilikuwa private, but Visa Oshwal ilikuwa public. Yes. So napata, growing up, I was a very lively child. I was a bookworm, so sikuwa mtu wa kuongea sana. I wasn't the life of the class. Nilikuwa mtu wa kusoma. Results ikikuja, I always had a trophy and a certificate going back home at the end of the term, because my life revolved around academics. And coming from the background yenye nilikuwa nayo, my parents were very keen on academics and making sure that they provided everything to put you in a better place. Because we knew the key to, you know, kuomoka venye unataka kuomoka, dream ya kutoka block ni kama umesoma vizuri. So I used to also play a lot of soccer because nilikuwa tomboy sana. So nilikuwa napenda kucheza ball sana. Nilikuwa nachafuka sana. I got into trouble a lot with my mom because even when I was doing my KCPE, badala nikae nisome, nimeenda kutoa steam na futa. So I used to play with boys, like you're the only chick. Unacheza na maboy.
So you're like a short chick.
Yeah. Very tiny, lakini kwa na mbio. So ukinani huyo
una maneuver.
Mimi ndo prefect, mimi ndo head girl, lakini nimetoka kuibia wase ball na warushia chini from the sports nani. So kulikuwa kaukurutu kidogo,
but vitabu sana. So you've said before that umekuwa straight A's student. Pupil and student as well. And you were supposed to actually pursue medicine. Tell us about that.
So, growing up, as I told you, dream ilikuwa kutoka kwa block, and you knew the only way to be successful is to either become a doctor or become an engineer or become a lawyer, become a pilot. So ilikuwa pata grades poa kwa KCPE, uende national school, ukitoka national school, ufanye
kampo.
Yeah. And I remember, uende kampo alafu ndo, sasa hapo ufanye medicine and become a doctor and you're successful and everyone is so proud of you, you know? So I used to see the light in my dad's eyes every single time nilikuwa nasema nataka kwa medicine. Like your grades, you know, my dad never used to even check my grades. My mom ndo alikuwa analyze, anasema umepata 92, you should have gotten 98 hizi na ni zote mbona mistakes. My dad alikuwa anajua uko sawa. So she's going to be very successful and growing up everyone knew I was going to be very successful. They just didn't know in what way. Unaona wale watoto unaangaliaga tu unajua huyu anaenda someone really big because of the aura you have. Ever since I was a kid, it was just a aura that was there. So nikafanya what was required of me, like get the right grades, go to a national school, went to Kenya High School, and it was a very good school that equipped us with a lot of discipline, a lot of work ethic, and how to conduct yourself, vitu zote, and just getting the right grades. So mepata grades inatakikana. And I remember kwa all my books, nilikuwa nimeandika Harvard Medical School, because kuna ile like tu budangu alikuwa nayo akisikia mtoto wangu anataka kuwa daktari, and he knew that mtoto wangu kuna everything it takes kuwa daktari. But then I never took some time to figure out what exactly Aziza wanted, because I wanted to make my parents proud all through, because they sacrificed a lot for me. Because yani wametoka mtaani, do you know how difficult it is to provide the best for you? So I really wanted to make them proud. So ikafika after kumaliza shule chini ya maji, lakini nilikuwa nimedevelop interest na aviation. So nika apply to Emirates Aviation University in Dubai. So I actually got in, but then unfortunately do haikuweza at the time. So I was very disappointed, I was very sad, and then sasa hapo ndo niko like, you know, I didn't even want to do this medicine thing in the first place.
Just to impress your dad.
Yes, I've been called for it, but me hata kidonda mtu siwezi nikaangalia. Medicine is a calling. Me, I'm a cry baby, I'm gonna cry with you. Uniambe guy akiwala hii imenifanyikia na mwana ulcer stalia wote. So what can I do? It's basically not a calling for me. So because vile nilimaliza high school, I started working immediately. Nilikuwa na jobo. By the time watu wana report shule, I had to quit my job, so I figure out now what am I doing with school.
What are you doing?
Vile nilimaliza, I was an online marketing agent for a certain tours and travels company. Ilikuanga hapo Strathmore. Wewe nimaliza shule alafu ninaenda kufanya job.
Ushinge hustle.
Nilinge hustle like immediately, nimemaliza hivi, the next week nimetrainiwa, tukaenda kumenta kwa mashule na ulizwa tunaweza kutrain kufanya online marketing, tukulipe well and good, kwa nilikuwa 10K. I was balling out of control. So nilikuwa niko fresh, sikuendanga hata driving ama computer venye watu walikuwa.
Most people, we all did that actually.
I didn't like, but nimerudi driving juice. So yes, report shule sasa unapata I can't do medicine, so what else should I do? So I'd applied to law as well at Strathmore, but then I still wasn't feeling it. So my mom was like, why don't you try journalism? Because growing up, I've seen who you are. Tukiwaga shule wendo ulikuwa una make announcements, uko debate kwa Model UN. Why don't you try it out? But I thought she was crazy, because unaambia mimi nimetoka Kenya High nene nikafanye journalism, kila mtu ataniona nika nimeruka akili. Because I've left school telling my teachers I am going to, wanajua nime apply Emirates Aviation University, wanajua if it's not that, it's medicine or law. How do I stand up and tell my peers?
I'm a journalist now.
People who are the creme de la creme, that minimum of journalism, because to be honest, doing journalism was not attached to the idea or typical idea of success, or a smart person angewaambiwa to get an A and go do journalism. So people thought I was mad. But then my mom was like, give it a try. You're doing it for you and I'll support you. In case it doesn't work out, we can always start afresh. So try it out for this semester, try a few internships here and there so that you can get first-hand experience. And when I started, I actually fell in love with journalism.
So where did you enroll?
At the University of Nairobi. Yes.
For a degree in...
Bachelor of Arts in Journalism and Media Studies. So you clear, right? So did you get into the media? I know you were in NTV, you were in Energy Radio. Did you get into the world of media while still in school or after? It's actually the reason as to why I didn't finish school.
Oh, okay.
Nilipata kazi and then I stopped showing up.
Okay.
Reason being, and I hope this will be taken in the right context, whereby we can do things better. I felt like from first year, nilianza kufanya internships immediately because I come from a background where everyone is going to be successful. Kenya High, everyone is going to be successful in media, in whatever field they go into. So I would be the black sheep if I'm not successful. So I decided I need to be the best at this thing. So by the time my fellow mates are finishing school, mi nishapata job, mi nimekuwa famous, nimekuwa yani niko na kila kitu at hand. I need to be the best of the best. So unapata nikaanza ku volunteer kwa online stations. And then now when you do things on ground, unaangalia what you're being taught in school, I felt betrayed by the system, whereby our courses are not updated to suit what the market wants. Whereby unapata even writing a simple news script. The first time I went to Ibru and I was a news reporter and a news anchor, I had to unlearn everything and relearn everything afresh. So I was like, why am I going to school when I will go back to school and finish my degree?
For the record.
Yeah, for the record.
But you could learn it kwa ground.
Yeah, I felt like that is what we should have been taught in school. Unapata, you're being taught about types of microphones and you're not even touching the microphones. There's no studio. Unaonesha nani projector,
pure theory.
Condenser microphone, nini. So you go to an online station that's not even developed. It's not Citizen, it's not NTV, it's not KTN. It's just a small online station, but hapo ndo unajifunza everything. So unapata even the people who I was in the same class with graduated, but none of them is doing anything regarding media. Reason being, kama singejituma huko nje,
you would still be, you would be like them actually.
Because journalism is a practical course. You can't talk about a practical course without doing the practical things.
Without the practicality aspect of it. So you joined, where do you go first? You go to Ibru, then you go to NTV?
I started with several online stations. Unaenda kwa hii 3 months, unaona kwa hizi groups za shule. Watu wanatumanga opportunities hapo. And then me and my clique of friends, tulikuwaga wale, lazima tujitume. Ati, watu wanataka nani tuende. Wanataka hiyo. So I think I'd applied to all stations by the time I got my first breakthrough. But then the ones zenye nilikuwa napata opportunities, nika online station, after interns for 3 months, and then unaona hatuna pesa ya kuwa facilitate, tunafunga, we go to the next one. I remember telling a story about an online station that my friend alikuwa amefungua kwa Esto, and then I was doing a breakfast show, and then tumeamka kwenda kufanya breakfast show because it's a bed sitter amehaya, equipment hapo and everything. Mnaamka mnaenda mnapata hakuna tokens, so you have to wait for him to wake up at 8 a.m. na walipia tokens. So
you have an online, you have a morning show to do.
Yeah, morning show inaanza 6, mwenye station ameamka saa 2 na hiyo ndo amewekea tokens muende live. Reason being, even none of you have the money.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Tokens, I can imagine. Footing, because we used to leave the Estom at like 5:30 tunatembea mpaka kwa station. So hata tokens natoa wapi?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so finally ndo nika audition, nikaingia Ibru.
Yeah. This is
2021 if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
No, 2020 December.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, 2020 December, because nakumbuka walikuwa make auditions, wanatafuta host wa show. Na mi auditions ilikuwa naenda zote iwe acting iwe. I'm not embarrassed about anything. The worst you can tell me is no. Hata gigs sahi, mimi na DM kila mtu. Hi, my name is Aziza, I need this and this job. Ukiona utani blue tick shauri yako on to the next. Utaniona Hollywood. I'm not embarrassed to ask for jobs. So kwa auditions unaambiwaga ukiamba ufike 9 na ufike 9 you will not audition. Itafikia point whereby watakata wase kwa line waseme by that write your names there, we'll call you, and that has happened to me so many times. So Ibro amesema tufike 9. Me, I was there by 5 a.m. and I was the 8th person there. I still have my katag ile number na ikaga kwa handbag yangu so that I remember where I came from.
Morale.
Yeah, so they were looking for hosts wanane for one show. It was a Saturday show whereby wanawapatia topics alafu mna engage. So from doing that show for like 2 weeks, my bosses saw me and they took interest in me doing a screen test for news. Now mimi sijawahi ona teleprompter kwa maisha yangu. nimekuja hapo nafanya screen test na wasi wa this other unis in a Daystar or the technical universities whereby wao wamezoea practicals ndo everything and I applaud them for that. I wish I would have done journalism there. So unafika they're like, okay, so this is the auto cue, okay, run it for me, can you nani, mimi niko like munataka nisome wapi? So I read my first time interacting with a teleprompter and I got the gig to become a news reporter. So nimefanya screen test on Thursday. On Monday they tell me to report to work. So nikasema wacha ni fuse na industrial attachment yangu. So nikawa reporter, mara weni director, weni producer. I did everything because I was like, if I'm going to be in this place, I want to do everything so that by the time natoka hapa hakuna mtu ataniambia hata nikawai rushwa huku ama huku ama huku, because unajua jobs za media pia you can't be very sure with one skill
deployed anywhere. That's true.
With one skill you can't tumepita hizo wakati, people are over talented out here. So after that ile unakuja asubuhi unaambia okay kuna show ya asubuhi ya breakfast ish na Ayub ndo alikuwa anafanya hiyo show. Ayub Abdikani Citizen he was doing that show. So naambiwa Ayub is doing a politics show and you're gonna join him. And I'm like, how the hell? I only know the president at that time, alikuwa Uhuru, the deputy, and the prime minister, and that was it. But then you find, I'll always applaud him because he taught me ni kama mtu mwenye ako shule. Because alikuwa na keep busy notes whereby he taught me everything I needed to know in politics, and that gave me the foundation for when I applied to Energy. Now they gave me a breakfast show because I don't know, DM is not only good with entertainment, you can also grill politicians and interview them nini. So everything was baptism by fire. After kufanya hiyo breakfast show, mara nafanya news. Now you're anchoring news, you're doing so many things. So me, I wasn't afraid of doing everything. So napata, I used to be at work 6 days a week. Uko na off day moja. Na hizo 6 days ni 8 a.m. baka mara 10 p.m. uko. So that was when me na UN tulionana kwa heri. Like that's where I never
umekuwa too busy at this point.
That's why I never went back to school.
So Energy Radio.
So Energy had actually applied from 2018. The first time they were looking for energetic MVPs, whereby you record an audition of yourself, post it on Instagram, tag them, nini. So 2018 I applied, but then sikuwa nataka kuchukua L yangu mwenyewe. We applied and posted it on my friend's Instagram page. So that mimi watu wakwetu wajui nili apply, so hawaoni kwa page yangu. So we applied as content creators and radio presenters. At that time, si hata tukua tunajua content creators wanafanya nini. Because 2018, content creation
we didn't know that. Actually, true.
Developed sana.
True.
So they actually took us in as content creators. Tukaingia kwa top 100, top 40. And I remember Recross had a concert in that year. Tukaletwa tickets za dollar bills. So sisi tumefurahi watu wa first year UN. Unaenda concert ya Recross yenye watu wengine walipa 9,000, sisi ma comrades bana. So we're excited. We made it to the top 40 but we didn't make the final list. 2019 we decided to try again with my friend tena tukaeka kwa Instagram page yake bado. Jumi bado sitaki kuchukua L kwa page yangu. So tukaeka kwa Instagram yake, we applied as a duo. We didn't even make it to the top 100 in 2019. So 2020 COVID came and you know, there wasn't much going on, so there were no auditions. Now 2021, while I was still at Ibru, sasa nika audition, and I was auditioning on the day of the deadline. Like nile nishafikiria, niko like hiki tu nime audition mara kadhaa, and they're not giving me this job. But then I was like, you know what, to hell with it. Kabla niende job, nika record audition yangu, nikaachilia Instagram hivyo, then mi nikaendelea na
Instagram yako sasa.
Yeah, nikaeka kwa Instagram yangu juu, bado wase walikuwa na restricted access at that time. So my friend alikuwa sha record yake, asha post yake. So I felt betrayed. Tuna posting na wewe. So usha post kwa page yako. Where do I post mine? So I didn't know it was a blessing in disguise. So nika record yangu because I was so busy the whole day. I wasn't seeing the notifications because my video was blowing up on Instagram. People were reposting. Even people in the limelight were recognizing what I was doing. But sami sioni jumi niko ground. Niki collect stories za nurses. Niki collect hizo, nikienda mapresa. Unakuja unakata bites zako. Unataka ku, you know.
I know.
So finally, my video really went. Ikasonga sana. and I made it to the top 100, then made it to the top 40, then finally was #1 kwenye Energetic MVPs. Wow. And immediately I came through, I started straight for a breakfast show, something that had never been done before. Because wase wenye walikuanga na namba social media, maybe uko popular ni nini, au wangeincorporate virahisi. Mimi nimekuja mimi niko na 7,000 followers. Mimi si soshi kwa Instagram, mimi sina numbers zozote. My numbers literally grew from there because I wasn't funny, I didn't know how to dance, so there's no way I would go viral. So yeah, they decided to take a chance on me.
This is 2021.
Yes.
Joy in Energy Radio, you worked there for until you came to
Citizen.
Wow, that is 3 years?
2 years and a couple of months.
2 years and a couple of months. What is that? What has your journey so far so good until you go to Citizen? What has it taught you so far before we talk about Citizen?
I think that
you've been learning the entire time.
Yes.
And doing a lot of things.
Yes.
What have you been learning the entire time?
I think for me, I think it has been God's way of showing me that my journey has taken a lot longer than anybody else. I'm not an overnight sensation. I'm a product of time. And every time God told me no, he was preparing me. He was giving me time to go learn certain things afresh, so that by the time I am getting certain opportunities, I'm ready for them and I'm not fumbling them. Because now looking back, come and get on my job in like 2018, I would have fumbled. I wouldn't have as much information as I gathered before I finally got it. So kila kitu Mungu ameni prepare, ameni suka vizuri,
for the right time,
vizuri, so that by the time I get certain opportunities, naua piga.
And I can say that.
Yeah.
How did you learn about 10/10?
Okay, so
Bado Energy, so
nilikuwa Energy na nilikuwa NTV.
NTV Teen
I was
Republic.
Teen Republic and nani. So when I saw the gap present, because Bazwali Toka,
it was news, yes.
Bazwali Toka and nini, I was like, I can't wait to see who they actually bring to this show. In my mind, I knew this was too big for me. And I knew I am not sending anything. I didn't even know anyone at Citizen. So si ile ati ningepiga niseme by that. If slot iko available, neza tuma application wapi nini. Na kwa najua kuna njia ya kupenya. And I was content because even at Nation, I was being groomed to eventually take the trend after a couple of years, because Amina is like a big sister to me, and she was always mentoring me and kunijenga too, so that by the time I leave, I'd want you to take the show and make it your own.
Should leave the show in a safe pair of hands, so to speak.
So and we have a lot of similarities. We come from similar backgrounds. We went to the same high school. We're doing the same thing. So it was only right, and the plans were already there. So nilikuwa najua najipa Teen Republic kama 2-3 years, alafu eventually I take up the trend, but I wanted a different name. Juu mimi msee napenda sherehe sana, like mbwembwe mingi, muziki, magenge ton nini kudance. I knew I wanted a show like that, but I thought that 10/10 was too big for me. So in my mind, when I saw Bazwa ameondoka, I already had people in mind who I knew would have been right for that show.
Do you mind telling us what?
I knew someone like Kwambox would have been dope, because I look up to her a lot, and I thought her energy vibe, she was the best suited person for that show. So nilikuwa like, wanaweza chukua Kwambox ama hata wapocha Mina kutoka The Trend wampeleke 10/10. Like nilikuwa najua ma OGs kwa industry ndo wangeget your chance. So sikubother hata, nilikuwa na keep up kama watu wengine, piga umbea tukijua na sasa wacha tuone nani atachukuliwa. So all of a sudden I get a call from one of the producers to come audition, because they'd sampled so many people on screen and off screen. But then, you know, for someone like me, because I was already on TV, my interview couldn't be on screen like the other people because of conflict of interest. You can't be at one TV station now on audition kwa ingine, mabosi wako hata wanakuangalia what is wrong with you? So I did my audition off screen, but via a screen test. So as we started, we were several people when I came, ambao walikuwa wamekuja ku audition, madem kadhaa. There were some hype men as well who had also come to audition. So I was like, okay, so ndo hiyo audition tukakutana hapo, stumbled.
Kuja hapo na mbwembwe zako.
And I've never seen such a long
and let me tell you, what's funny is that's the first time I knew you. I did not know
who you were. Naonaga interviews zako kwa sababu when I was benchmarking, you know the way you interview other people. So naenda watch interviews zako because they're long, so I could get a few things.
You understand,
and
exactly.
About the person I'm interviewing.
So you're telling me earlier when we started the show that you walked to your Uber And you cried?
Yes, niliingia straight kwa nikalia.
You auja deliver?
Yeah, because I was like, I'm my biggest critic, kiukweli. So I saw other ladies there and other nani and unajua uoni audition ya mtu mwingine. Si ati nyote mmekaa mnaangaliana, unaweza iba points hapa na hapa ni nini. Wao washafanya zao na wamewekwa kando. So imefika time yako and I'm like, yo, because mimi napenda nyimbo ya Calligraph. So that was the song I started with. And then I let Calligraph down during my audition. I didn't dance. Nilikuwa naimba two lyrics, so I'm like, Mungu wangu kuisha.
Into hakaji.
I knew imeenda mbaya. I was like, I felt so disappointed because I was like, they called me because they thought there was something in me.
Yeah.
So
how would I let them down?
Yeah.
So how long did it take before they got back to you and told you are?
It took a while. Okay. This audition was so long.
Yeah.
It took too long. So I felt ilikuwa more than 2 weeks before I finally got the call back.
Oh my God.
That was a while. Unajua kwa asubuhi kila siku uko like
2 months is a while. 2 weeks is not a while.
Alafu unaona nani more than 2 weeks.
Okay, all right, okay.
Alafu unaona watu ndio hiyo kila Friday
they have a new person.
Mimi hiki tu imeenda kiukweli and I fumbled, so acha nikubali. So nilikuwa naamka asubuhi na feel vibaya. I'm like, any God, I wish you'd give me another chance to redeem myself. Then now we finally got the call back because the audition went in different stages. It wasn't just about how good you are on screen. Your previous jobs and your previous vitu zingine ambazo unafanya and your other skills actually mattered while getting the job, because it wasn't just about you. We have so many good TV presenters out here. We have so many good hype men.
But
what you do after that, I was grilled proper. My lord, sijaika kwa meeting kama hiyo unagrilliwa ukiulizwa University of Nairobi, you've been in this university for 6 years. Why so? So everything really mattered with regard to getting the job. And after that, there was another screen test as well. And then another one for pairing. So by the time we're getting the job, you'd really earned your slot.
I can imagine.
Unapata more than 1.5 months of just back and forth to make sure that they're sure
we have
about
to get
who
the right person.
Yes.
Your first show, you've gotten the job. I mean, you're very happy, you're excited and everything. You come to Citizen. In fact, I watched your first show ever with Hype Gooderman, right?
Yes.
And then you just drove in this sort of a truck or something. What was that?
That was the second show.
That was the second show?
Yeah, the first show, Guda alikuja na wasiwa boda, the motorbike.
Yeah, I think I watched that.
Then I was raised in like a
I did watch that in like a whole kingly seat or whatever.
Yes.
And then you go do your show. How much of the tension in you at that point? What are you thinking? Am I going to kill these? Am I going to...
I think I will always be grateful for the pairing that we got, because number one, even when we were doing, because I was paired with several guys in the industry to finally get who I had good chemistry with, and my pairing with Guda from the get-go, because tulikuwa tunajuana before but not as friends. I didn't even have his number. Tumepatana once per event and we just clicked in nini. I was emceeing and he gave me a few pointers. So he was like, by that, ukienda kuintroduce, why don't you try this and that? And I thought, this is such a good guy. So to see him at the audition, tuli click too heavy. Our chemistry, us bouncing off of each other, us not talking over each other. Because one thing you'll always notice, talk at one session, say there's no single point, even when we're hyping together, that me and Guda have ever talked over each other. Because he's become like a big brother to me. So I was getting all my strength from him, even during the first show. Because before we did the first show, I'd quit both my jobs and I stayed off air for more than a month. So watu wanakuona wako like, umequit job, are you serious? Umekatu miaka mbili nini. So all that while we were practicing, we were planning, we were rehearsing, we were
a lot was happening in the background.
Yeah, we were trying to get our rapport on check, na kila kitu, just spend a lot of time together so that we bring the best results. And during that time, Pia, I was doing DJ classes, so that by the time I'm doing my first show, I was bringing something new that people couldn't expect Aziza would do. So nilikuwa nafanywa classes za ku DJ nini. So during that first show, I was tense about so many things, because number one, this is the first time that Kenyans are going to be interacting with you on the biggest platform in the country, on the biggest station in the country. So kuna kale ka imposter syndrome. Do I deserve to be here? Like, this is so big. God, you've given me the biggest thing I'd ever thought about, because after Citizen, reason, in Kenya, surely there's no other place you're going.
I know.
This is the peak. This is where everyone is watching.
That's true.
So niko na pressure pia ya ku DJ because I'm DJing for the first time in public and I don't know how it's gonna be. Nitahata beats zangu. So everything was yani a lot of pressure, but
did it fall in place? Everything fell in place?
Everything fell perfectly in place. My first mix was fire. We danced as well, and as I was telling you, getting confidence. I'm gonna talk about Guda. Even during my events nowadays, you see him coming for my events because everybody sees the confidence. Yeah, somehow. Everybody sees the confident side of me, but they don't know for me to be confident. There's a whole army behind me that makes sure that I'm okay. So
you've talked to a lot of people. You've interviewed, even when you were at Energy Radio and Teen Republic as well. At Citizen, so far so good. Would you identify and say, this has been so far my most favorite interview? It could be any celebrity, it could be any person. I mean, Nigani ilikubamba ukasema, hey, this was a good one. Or a particular episode that you say, this was a very good episode. I love this.
I think for me, before I got into Citizen, I used to admire or want to do the big interviews with the biggest celebrities. So before that, ningekuwa nimesema Calligraph in the country, Pato Ranking, and all these other big artists within the continent. But right now, getting to be the source of a certain wave for the next generation has been my favorite part. We were one of the first people to interview the urban tone artists on TV. They had never gotten interviews on mainstream TV before, and to see such growth in their talent, to see how great they are, and they've come back to the shows so many times. Because they come.
It's a whole crew, apparently.
Yeah, so that has been my favorite part about the show, or my favorite interview in that. I'm sending them interview akiwa hapa, and right now they're here. I am so proud to be such
see their growth.
Part of such
crazy.
I
have I want an honest answer from you. Is there any future in Urban Tone?
There is, and it's because I'm also a part of the movement, because I've seen a documentary recently by Miss Kithinji from SPM, whereby she was trying to paint a picture of how the rise and fall of Gengeton was. And you find for Urban Tone, what is making it better is because, number one, these guys are hatuwatukani, hatuwabash venye tuko tunabashwa sawa Gengeton, because we live in such a hypocritical society whereby we're like, oh, si wanaimba uchafu ni nini. You know, the same people mnasikiza kina Nicki Minaj na Cardi B wakiimba WAP, and then you want to be hypocrite.
And Megan Thee Stallion.
You know, the same people mnasikiliza kina Diamond, kina Mbosso wakiimba kile wanachoimba, ila wameiweka kwenye tasfida kwa kuwa ni Kiswahili, but they are just singing about the same thing. So instead of bashing, instead of mentoring them, we were bashing them. And it's quite unfortunate that they also experienced COVID. Alafu unajua, you've gone from having a lot of money, they're not gigs, so everything was a surprise. But for Urban Tone, there's been a lot of mentorship behind the scenes, whereby unapata it's been trademarked by someone like Motif the Don, who is one of the best producers that we have in East Africa, whereby he's taken the boys under his wing. There are also other key players in Urban Tone who've learned from the mistakes that we have and are ensuring these boys, number one, know how to monetize their talents. They know how to rate themselves. They know how to work with different businesses and endorsements. Did you watch Tipsy G's performance kwenye Blankets and Wine?
Yeah, I saw a clip online.
You can see the difference.
So you want to tell me you believe there are structures to sustain this particular
and you see the way we have the same Caribbean beats, watu wa Jamaica na move na beats zao zote, and that's why anyone can jump on it na ina catch the wave.
Like a rhythm. A rhythm basically.
So kuna rhythms za kila aina zenye people are jumping on, so it's not a foreign concept. Even in the US, the artists like Lola Brooke, who are actually doing the same thing that Urban Tone artists are doing, wanachukua masongs like na Foxy Brown, the other artists wa zamani, and you know, bring a new tune
doing it and, you know, giving it a twist.
Unapata, even that's why people in Nigeria are so big on certain Urban Tone songs like Mr. T's Diggy or other tunes like that. So Urban Tone is going to be a movement, not just a single thing. There's a lot. I don't want to disclose much. There's a lot that's going to happen within the next couple of months.
We can only wait and see.
And the wave is going to be massive. And what we'd like to say, ni mtu yoyote ambaye anataka kujoin in on the wave, it's more than welcome to anyone. And it's not just about artists. It's about people in media. It's about DJs. It's about TikTokers, influencers. Everyone will be a part of the Urban Tone movement.
Africa Arts Entertainment Awards 2024. And the award goes to, guess who it is? The one and only Aziza Hashimi.
Let's talk about your awards.
Yeah.
What is that about? Over the weekend, there's East African
Arts and Entertainment Awards.
They awarded you for what?
I got 2 awards, one for myself and one for my show, or for our show.
10 over 10, yeah, sure.
Yes.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So, how did you feel? Tell us about it. You actually attended the event, right?
Yes, I was at the event.
Where was it?
It was at Nairobi Street Kitchen.
Okay.
Yes. So it's an East African award, and even for 10 over 10 as a show, mina guda ndo tumingia October, so October, December, January, February, March. Not at 6 months.
Yes, literally, yeah.
And the show has already been nominated and has already won and has gotten so many eyeballs, and we've come with a whole different energy and a whole different vibe. So even kupata award for myself is a whole different ball game, but to get an award for my show, yani kitu yenye mina guda every single week we put our hearts into, because mina guda tukikamigi through kwa 10 over 10 sitna kujaga tu vibe kujibamba and to give our all every single week. So the fact that people see that and acknowledge that really meant a lot to us. We were both there na tuli represent venye representigi. In fact, we had Ezekiel Mutua telling us he's a big fan of the show.
Oh wow.
Dr. Ezekiel Mutua mwenye.
Ezekiel Mutua.
I was on stage and he was like, "Aujakuja na Guda man." And I'm like, "How do you know us?" So he actually applauded us for how we've been able to take the show, how we're influencing the next generation, and how proud he is of what we've been able to do with the show. And he says he loves the energy. Some of the songs, as they learn and as they learn from there. So it's good to see that the young, the old,
everyone is embracing the movement, actually.
Yes. And now for my own awards.
You know,
it's been quite amazing. Ever since I got into 10 over 10 or Citizen, I've been nominated for so many awards, especially out of the country. I've gained a lot of traction in West Africa, that's Nigeria and Ghana, where I'm getting several nominations from there, but also in Tanzania as well. That's where you're seeing a lot of even me doing the show outside the country, because if we have fans there as well, 10 over 10 is the whole wave. Let's take it there. So I've been very honored. I won Media Personality of the Year this weekend. I won the 10 over 10 as most supportive showbiz show in East Africa. Haikuwa show moja tu ya, haikuwa show za Kenya pekee. We're alongside kina Double XL za Clouds FM, shows za Uganda, and so many other shows in East Africa. So that shows that we're doing something right. And I also won a certain award recognition rather in Uganda on Saturday as well by the under 40 CEOs, not as a CEO, but for what I'm doing in the entertainment industry. And there were other awards before that. Most of them were for radio.
Are you paying anyone to give you all these awards?
With which money?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
If I can afford,
because you're really winning these awards.
If I can afford to pay,
you would have paid the I'm sure you look up to people.
Yes.
I want you to give me, I don't know, I don't want rappers, singers, people who do what you do.
Yes.
I used to like a young woman called Tamima. Now she's not a young woman anymore.
Tamima.
Yes.
She used to be
fire. In fact, I used to do a show with her in KTN.
For real? Which one was it?
I used to do a show. We used to shoot it at the hotel in South Sea, here Red Cross. What's the name of the...
Pale tu switch ilikuwa bado.
Right? Yes, there. So myself and Tamima used to do, I used to go there too, because nimefanya mambo mingi sana. So I used to do Tamima, yes, tukiwa Tamima back in the day when she was still a very young girl, still in TV, still doing all that kind of thing. And I used to like her and admire her a lot.
Yeah.
Well, forget about that. tell us who is the one woman or the two women or the three women in the industry you've always looked at to and you still look up to today.
Yeah. I'll talk about two women in Kenya.
Okay.
And also internationally.
Okay.
In Kenya, I, for the longest time ever, looked up to Caroline Mutoko.
Oh, wow.
Reason being, she gave me that confidence to be different because she was different from every other lady. She knew what the hell she was saying and she had a firm stand. If it's yes, it's yes. If it's no, it's no. Yes. And I used to be quite the same when I was a kid. By some of the teachers in the staff room because I was very firm and I used to get that from Caroline growing up, and my dad used to tell me Caroline anaongea or try to do this nini nini. So she is one person who was my ultimate role model, and that's the reason as to why I even took radio because I wanted to do what Caroline was doing. And now in media as well, for someone who taught us that you could be so many things was Amina Abdi Rabah, who has now become my big sister and my mentor and just someone I can call up to for anything when it comes to advice, like how do I navigate this? I'm encountering this and this challenge. So someone I admired because of the fact that she not only stuck to one thing, she came with something different that no other Kenyan female was doing. Kina Jalango walikuwaga wanafanya hizo vitu. But for Madenges, angeamka asubuhi, she's hosting something at State House. Usiku wako na concert ama umetoka radio at this station, umemaliza umeenda TV, umemaliza umefanya hivi na hivi na hivi. So that made us
She was an all-rounded woman.
Yes, and that's who I admired. So in Kenya, let's say Caroline and Amina. There's so many others, but I can't mention all of them. But those two
stand out for you.
Yes. Internationally, Bonang Mateba from South Africa.
Kind of look like her, actually, in this particular life today. I'm a huge fan of Bonang, actually.
I absolutely love her because, again, she has a deep baritone. And Pia, one of the people who helped me develop my confidence without even knowing it, because nikimsikia akiongea vile anaongea na ako comfortable nayo. Hata mimi na hii base yangu mtoto wa Islando, I can zoza katisha.
I know, right?
So she's one of my key role models. So even when it comes to certain things that I do, they're out of what I've seen her doing. Like Bonang does things in this way, I will do things in that way. And that's part of admiring someone. They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I wouldn't mind if someone would say I am imitating because she is good.
Yes,
that is the blueprint. What else are you gonna do?
And also a very good entrepreneur, you know that. She's like a rich woman. With her own champagne line and all that kind
House
of thing.
House of B&G. So
exactly.
If you see women like that, sasa wewe unalan and take it even a step further so that another chick can say, you know, niliona Aziza akafika hapa na mimi nikafika hapa. So Bonang, there's Kutso Teledi as well from South Africa. She is an amazing radio presenter on Metro FM, hosting the mid-morning show. She also has such a deep, husky voice, and she's dope when it comes to interviews. So that's why I love her. And then there's Oprah Winfrey, because she is the ultimate
really much
queen.
Love my people, my God.
And if I want to do a show, nataka kufanya show kama ya Oprah, but in a travel kind of way, whereby you're going to different parts of the world and just getting to take different stories and interact with so many people.
What is your pet peeve? What pisses you off so easily?
I don't like people who are who uko slow too, especially kwa kazi, because I'm a very my friends say I'm a perfectionist. I know exactly what I want and how I want it, and in the most, even ukiangalia ma videos zangu, the after movies that I do vis-a-vis anybody else's after movie, we have to, every single beat matters, every single nakwanga na attention to detail. So if you're gonna do your job na unafanya vitu tu hivi ni kama hapana, whether you're umeamua kuosha choo ama umeamua kuwa msee wa ndudhi ama msee wa kaba manini, hizo vitu, just do them to the best of your ability. So me, I hate people who unafanya vitu
hivi tu. I know, pisses you off.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would want to know, I'm sure, including the camera guy here, Jamani Mafisi huyu. People want to know, is Aziza taken? Is she seeing someone? Was she seeing someone? Mpango inakaa vipi?
Me, Nairobi.
What was like DM say?
As long as hakuna pete hapa, we are still me
But that doesn't mean anything though.
No.
Okay.
As long as mimi ni mtoto wa Kiswahili. As long as hakuna mtu amekuja akamwona mzee Hashim akasema nimedevelop interest, nimeona ua kwenye garden yako na ningependa. You know, I know that language. The cows have not moo-mooed, the cows have not pee-peed. We've not seen a single cockroach from your house, not even your chicken and whatever. So I am not married. And as far as Nairobi is concerned, I have experienced
Nairobi
world-class character development.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Watu wameonyesha stuff. Unajua kuna msali aliniachanga nikiwa naenda kusoma news. Akaniambia we are not compatible. Do you know I Googled compatible the whole day to understand if there's a different meaning for compatible. That's the kind of character development.
Wow. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was he like a gay in the media as well? Ama just alikuwa mtu tu huku? Alikuwa
upcoming artist. Mpaka sasa ni upcoming artist. Mungu wetu halali. So, in case you want to hear more of my character development stories,
just a silly one. Do you have a celebrity crush in the world?
Yeah. Trey Songz.
Oh my God, that guy is so. Oh my God.
No, ever since I was a kid, it's because anaka cake.
Ni wa kitambo
though.
Yeah, but aliisha ladha though. But
me worry about our generation. But unajua growing up, ulikuwa unachukua nilikuwa na zilikuwa
gazeti Britney Spears.
For real?
No, I can't even look at her twice.
Oh my goodness.
I used to like Britney Spears when she was hot though. She was hot though.
She was fire.
A hot, young, pretty white woman.
She was an it girl. She was kulikuwa na hizi magazeti za Super Strikers. Alafu pia kwa gazeti kulikuwa na kale
Buzz magazine. Yes.
So nilikuwa na moja ya Theo Walcott because I've always been an Arsenal fan. Lakini Theo Walcott alizeeka so akaacha kukaa vile alikuwa anakaa enzi zetu.
Moto.
Yeah. And then kulikuwa na Trey Songz. So nilikuwa nazieka mbili hapo mamangu anakuja anangoa. So those are my celebrity crushes.
Internationally. Locally, do you have
locally nilikuwanga nayo, but then now when you get to meet all your celebrity crushes,
it fades away actually.
Celebrity crushes.
But who was that? We don't mind knowing.
Ilikuwanga Reckless when I was getting into the industry. Juu ya sauti yake.
Wow, really?
If I was younger.
No, it's okay.
If I was younger, because I'm older than Tipsy G.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Gengetone
guy. If I was younger, yeah.
Remind me, mambo gani? TikTok, not TikTok.
Taki na Taki. All this like, amekuwa the new king wa makoras.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think the new Reckless now.
Yeah.
The new Reckless.
Sijui wanaume wako na base sijui wananifanyia nini. Juu sasa angalia, isipokuwa tu Trey Songz. Wewe anaimba ni muimbi.
Yeah.
Lakini ukiangalia Reckless, uangalie Tipsy G, alafu unajua kama demo mtaani, tukanga tunapenda hao maboy wenyewe. Maboy walikuwa na kafiti ni hao wako na silver
na pia akona ka gangster kidogo.
Thank you. Because mimi mwenyewe ni
wewe ni gangster.
Yeah, utani show. So unahitaji msemo mwenyewe anakuambia cool down.
Yeah.
Si msemo mwenyewe ametulia, amechillax, I'll walk all over you.
Yeah.
So you have to be a firm man and that you can tell me what to do and I'm going to listen. You can put me in my place, mimi naingia jikoni na pika. Yeah.
Are you a good cook?
I love cooking. Mimi ni mtoto wa Kiswahili. What do you mean?
Yeah, you actually are.
Kila kitu.
Okay, we should organize a cooking session one day.
Yes, please.
Like it should be on TV and on on camera. That is it.
The next time I'm being nominated for something international, we'll celebrate and I'll make you whatever it is you want.
Yes,
biryani, matobosha,
katlesi. Okay. What next for Aziza Hashim? Tunaenda wapi? Ambia watu wakupate wapi?
Hey, mambo ni mengi, I swear to God. Even when it comes to 10 over 10 as a show, because I absolutely love and enjoy doing 10 over 10. That's number one. Expect 10 over 10 to do more things internationally this year. Big things internationally are in the works. In that, Atutakwanga Studio 24/7. So we are coming to where you are. And 10 over 10 is a global movement, and that's where we're taking it. And even for Aziza, the goal is global. So kama host ni global, pia show ni global. Expect me back on radio very, very soon. So utajulia tu hapa
big things popping,
where we will be and which kind of show we'll be doing, but also with my radio show, expect different things. Tumetoka kwa hizo enzi zenye msee anashindanga studio the whole time. Let's do things a bit differently. And expect a lot of international gigs from myself as well. I'm looking into solidifying my spot as a corporate MC proper, from fashion events to award shows to you know, beauty pageants to government events, and now concerts, whereby when you think about the #1 concert MC, when you think about the #1 award show host, it's Aziza Hashim. And even stages, we expect a lot of things are going to be happening. Yeah,
so I want you to sign out this show for us with your beautiful voice.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So thank you so much for watching. Ikifika point umewatch mpaka hapa penye tumefika, yenyewe ni mloyal, we ni mzina, tunakuappreciate sana sana sana. Kama kawaida, there's only one place where you get exclusive interviews with your favorite celebrities, your favorite public figures, all the people who are up and trending wako hapa na Kabuga. He's the only person who does it better in the country. Kama yeye hajatoa information out of someone, who else will? So be sure to subscribe. Citizen Digital. Until next time, adios. Hawakuwa menifollow.
Oh, okay, all right.
But after follow us, guys. Sasa siwezi wadansia na siwezi wachekesha online. Ni follow at Aziza_H. That's AZ_EZAH_H. Bye.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.